There was a woman I saw on television, and to me, it was stupid. There's two of them. One of them was a mixed chick. She shot this man in the back of the head after he had picked her up. She was 15, though. Satoya, y'all can look it up. Satoya got off. They let her out because she was a victim because she was only 15 when she was selling herself. But the guy she shot didn't do anything to her. He was asleep. He had bought her food. So she was living out on the streets. Her mom and daddy left her out on the streets. The only thing she had of value was herself. She had started selling herself in order to live. She now gets to write a book about how horrible the guys are who bought it. But she wouldn't have been able to eat had they not. Now you flip that around and you look at a dude like these women who've been able to travel. 22 years old, they've been to Dubai and all over. Name a 22-year-old man who's been to Dubai and all over because somebody paid for it. So these women are getting to live. For it?
Daddy boys.
There are.
Some 22-year-olds are real bosses.
I get messages. I get DMs all the time.
Because they go to Dubai.
But at the end of the day, that makes no sense. Men have been superior since the day of time.
So like, why? Generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing. I don't know if anyone here is like, had these types of discussions. The exception doesn't make the rule, guys. Just because you know someone that might be 22 years old and a guy that's a millionaire because he did it off of crypto does not mean that the majority of men are millionaires at that age. He's just trying to express a point that there's more opportunity presented to women to travel because of the fact that they're women versus men.
If you guys had the opportunities, would you take them?
That's a whole other question.
We're just talking about gender differences.
We're not telling you what you're doing is wrong. We're just acknowledging a fact that this is how the world works.
Facts.
You know what's funny? I could shut this conversation down.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I started doing something like this, because the white girls would shut up and the black girls would overtalk them. If I said, white girls have advantages over black girls, y'all would cower and you wouldn't say, well, if you were white, you'd do it too. You wouldn't do it. You'd let them black girls say, yes, you do. And you'd sit up there and put your head down like this and let it go. It's funny that when we're talking about something like this, you won't do it because you can talk crap to a man. You can lie to a man. You can bring up ridiculous things and exceptions because it's a man and you can push him as much as you want to. But you wouldn't do it to a black woman. If she sat here and said, white women get advantages over us, you wouldn't sit up there and say, well, you'd do it if you were white. You'd let her talk. You'd understand what she was saying.
Oh, God.
I hope one of them race conversations come up. I guarantee you she ain't going to jump in there and say, well,
but don't you think,
she won't talk
don't
to
you
no
think
black girl
that's
like
more
that.
to fix that situation?
No, I'm mad at the idea that we can't have an honest conversation.
We are having honest conversation.
It's not honest when you change the dynamic and say, well, what would you do if it were
you reframed it.
Yeah, it's not that where nobody's saying it's wrong. If you're pointing out that there's steak on the table and shit on the table, I'm going to still eat the steak as long as you don't put the shit on it. But maybe I'm pointing out that there's steak and shit on the table so you don't put the shit on the steak. That's all. If you point out what all is on the menu, it doesn't mean that you still won't eat. But not acknowledging it, that's one of the things that even with that Tinder thing, women live in this fantasy world and they will keep reframing something until they win. I'm not trying to win a conversation. I'm trying to educate an audience.